discussed what horses can look like, what saddles can look like.
So I think let's go on to next, how we measure.
Yes.
Correct.
So interestingly enough, Dr. David Marlin, fantastic page to look at in terms of anything.
Yeah, that's
equine.
really,
And solid science-based fact, in all honesty.
He's got nice dissections and things on there.
Yeah,
It's really
he
good.
doesn't give much.
Yeah.
I'm trying, Georgie.
He doesn't give much.
So fundamentally with him, it's science-based. He doesn't wonder who the manufacturer is, what they're doing, why they're doing it. He's not, as a rule of thumb, currently employed by any manufacturer. So it's
So he's
science-based.
totally
It's
independent.
science-based research, which is fantastic
Very factual, which I like. Not
and simple. Like
Yeah.
he
Okay.
explains things, like.
Good layman's terms.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've just created a device that connects into an iPad that scans the horse's back and fundamentally creates a 3D image of it.
Okay.
And it's actually not, we don't have the device here yet. I don't even think
Would
it's
be
marketable
nice.
yet.
would be nice.
Would be nice.
Pre-fit
We'll put it on the list.
before.
We'll put it on the list with the sensor pad. Okay.
I'm getting cold.
Okay. Yeah.
For Christmas. But fundamentally, it's something I suggest to every
Siobhan, you were
rider.
getting cold before this.
True.
Don't worry.
So it's something I suggest to every rider that if you stand on a mounting block or a step safely, providing your horse is a logical creature
You look back.
that doesn't spook at things that move and don't move, and you look down its back, it's a really good way to start assessing your horse yourself prior to even a saddle fitting.
And seeing,
But
seeing
just as a general-
imbalances
yeah.
as well.
I mean, that's a great one. Have you ever stood behind any of them and looked down? And a lot of the time when you get them to do that, they're like,
Oh.
wow, I didn't realize that's what the horse looks like. Like it's got a dipped shoulder or a big shoulder, or it's quite wide or flat. It's quite a...
So interesting, biologically, 80% of horses are left-handed. They're
Correct.
more developed left. And now there's a great debate, obviously, about this. Why? There is
Oh,
always a
there's
why.
many.
So fundamentally, one of the questions is it the way they lie during
the
this
The way
gestation?
yeah.
Or for the fact that we do everything off the left. We lead them off the
Everything.
left, we get on from the left. We very rarely do anything from the right. So it is a debate, but interestingly, if you play with like foals in herds, even when their mothers are to the right, if you startle them, because that's what one does when one wanders around the field,
In the name of science. Whoa.
they will run left.
Okay.
8 out of 10 of them.
Yeah.
The two weirdos run right.
Do we want? Are those the two good ones, or do we
Well, no,
avoid
it
them?
depends on what track you're racing on
Yeah,
in this
this is
country.
true. That's a
Fundamentally,
good point.
if it's a left-handed track,
Yeah.
you're sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got those that we've got the. You said what else you're going to look at to fit a horse?
So fundamentally, what we do nowadays, measuring, since we don't quite have these gyroscope measurements yet available, is we do what we call a flexi curve, and it's a malleable piece of.
It looks a bit like
Material.
that, right?
And- yeah.
But
But also different companies, depending on where you buy from, whether you buy it from an English brand company or Italian, or if you even can buy them locally, they all have different things. So I have one that it almost looks like clogs stuck together that you can maneuver
Each
covered
one
in leather.
individually.
Exactly.
It looks like beaded balls.
There we go. Beaded balls covered
Okay.
in leather
okay.
with markings on it.
I got worse as we explained it.
Yeah, I was like, if someone didn't know what that was, they've tuned off. Okay.
And you use that.
And how many places do you track at?
So
I
on the
like
back.
to do quite a lot because I then like to put it on the paper and show the person what
How
I'm
the back is
seeing.
changing from the front of the
Correct.
saddle to the back of the
So
saddle,
you often-
essentially.
For me, and I know you do this because when I came to one of your classes, you put it on shoulder,
yeah,
behind shoulder, and it's normally like 2 to 3 fingers. I can't.
about 2 inches
There you
apart.
go.
Okay.
In girl measurements, not boy.
Okay.
And you go all the way down, all the way to lumbar, because then you can also see how your horse is developing. Is there problems?
Absolutely.
Skewness, muscle issues?
Asymmetry.
I've barely ever seen that.
So it's great to track it, and then the advantage of tracking it like that. And so the standard one is about 2 inches behind the point of the scapula,
Correct.
because that's where the gullet plate of a saddle will sit.
This part.
That part. And then you do in front of T18, which is the thoracic vertebra, which is in front of the last rib, just in front of the last rib. And then you can also map.
And English
profile.
saddles, they shouldn't go beyond that.
No,
Okay.
no. And the point of the tree should always be behind the shoulder
Okay.
when you fit. So interestingly, in your jumping saddles.
And how should the point of tree lie in relation to
Georgie's
we
getting ahead.
going ahead? Okay,
So-
jumping saddle.
So in a jumping saddle, your point of tree, the front of the panel actually comes forward. So your knee block is over the shoulder, but that is all movable.
Okay.
So the actual fixed part is always behind the shoulder because the scapula moves like a fan like that.
Okay. Yeah. As it leaves the arena.
Been watching too much of The Crown.
Okay. So now you've done this
We've
measurement.
done this.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the next step is, are we doing your existing saddle or are we doing a new saddle? So if we're doing your existing saddle, we're going to strip it out in terms of take everything off. We're going to take the numnahs off, the stirrup irons off, everything off, and we're going to examine the saddle. We're going to check the tree. We're going to look at the panels, see if there's any asymmetries, check the torsions left and right.
So what are you checking for? No broken tree.
Correct.
Yeah.
If the saddle has been flocked, if it's been flocked with, if it's been flocked evenly,
Yes.
if it's okay.
So we're checking all of that and also the width of the central channel. And another thing we often look at is your stirrup leathers. And riders won't often realize this, particularly with the calf skin leathers, which are lovely. They stretch.
Yeah.
And if you are a little bit asymmetrical, you're going to weight bear more on one side than
And
the
we
other.
don't, because we don't do a left-right on,
Yeah.
we forget to
Swap
alternate.
swap the stirrups around.
And you should ideally swap your leathers every month.
Yeah. Well, and if you're cleaning your own tack, which in other parts
If
of the
you're
world you
cleaning
would
your
be the
tack.
groom. This is true.
You should
So-
clean your tack every time you use it.
Don't just remember the
No,
Pony
no.
Club handbook.
Yes.
Okay.